surrender to this feeling of profound relaxation. The idea that your own needs are met effortlessly, that your striving is unnecessary, that abundance flows when the heart is open and the hands are still. Allow your limbs to feel the deep, luxurious surrender to this effortless existence. The people of the Golden Age knew no urgency. They wandered unhurried, through meadows carpeted not by harsh weeds, but by fields of asphodel and the gentle, intoxicating lotus, flowers of eternal beauty and quiet, peaceful forgetfulness. Their bare feet were cushioned by the deepest, softest grass, and the air was continuously thick with the wild, resonant sense of time and the rich, flowing sweetness of natural, dripping honey. The very foundations of this society were built on tranquility. There was no need for locks on doors, because the concept of want was absent. There was no mine versus yours, eliminating the root cause of envy, of hurried accumulation, and of all human strife. Neighbors simply shared bread and wine under the wide, protective, silvery canopy of ancient olive trees. Their laughter was a gentle sound, round, full, and soft, carrying no harsh edges, echoing like the slow, purposeful trickle of a nearby stream that never ran dry. And even time was benign. The children remained perpetually in a state of innocent, joyful play, never burdened by the pressure of having to grow old, serious, or responsible. The elders, though wise, retained a light-heartedness of spirit. Their wisdom was shared in quiet circles, under the soft glow of a non-flickering fire. When the time came for them to depart, they faced no struggle, no pain, and no fear. They simply closed their eyes, allowed their bodies to drift away into a welcomed, tranquil sleep, transforming into gentle, kind spirits of the air who continued to guide the living. This myth assures us that the possibility of peace, of irony, is fundamentally within the natural design of the world. It is the core reality, obscured only by our own anxieties and striving. As you feel your body growing heavier now, imagine you are walking in those soft, golden fields. That your breathing is slow, your steps are unhurried, and your mind is cleared of all ambition. There is only the sweet, deep serenity that flows from a heart completely open to the universe's effortless abundance. Settle into that deep golden certainty. Feel the soft texture of the light on your skin, the honey on your palate. Let the overwhelming, effortless peace of the Golden Age fill the space behind your closed eyes, pulling you deeper and deeper into rest. That we journey now to a place of profound, protective shadow, to meet Hypnos, the winged god who holds the key to gentle slumber. He is the master of surrender, the divine entity who ensures that all life receives its necessary, restorative rest. Hypnos is the twin brother of Thanatos, the god who brought only non-violent, peaceful death. They are the sons of Nyx, the primordial goddess of night, and Erebus, the deep darkness. From this lineage of soft shadow comes the most sacred gift of renewal. His dwelling is a sanctuary of profound, continuous calm, a cave deep in the underworld, in a sunless, twilight land where no ray of the sun ever penetrates. This ensures perpetual, deep twilight, a place of perfect consistency for rest. At the entrance to his sanctuary, a thick, low growth of poppies blooms perpetually. Their petals are not a harsh, shocking red, but a deep, soft purple, dusted with the cool silver of moonlight. Their scent is a powerful, sweet essence, continuously wafting into the air to induce the deepest, gentlest slumber. Hear the continuous, soft, dry rustle of the petals shifting on a breeze that barely exists, a sound so gentle it is almost silence itself. Breathe in the calming weight of that scent, easing the grip of your active mind. Crucially, the holy river Lethe flows nearby, the river of forgetfulness. Its waters move so slowly they are almost still, black and deep, carrying away all the pain, all the sorrow, and all the remembered troubles of the day. Hypnos's realm is the ultimate shelter from memory, worry, and the burdens of the past. Hypnos himself reclines on an enormous, low ebony bed. Its wood is polished to a soft, dark sheen, and it is piled impossibly high with the softest, downiest feather pillows, designed to perfectly cradle the weary form. His great, magnificent wings are silver, reflecting the faint light like liquid moonlight, and his eyes are always heavy, soft as the final moments of twilight, often closed in a state of tranquil contemplation. Imagine sinking into that bed now. Feel the soft pressure of the pillows beneath your head and neck, conforming perfectly to your shape. Allow your own breathing to slow and deepen, mimicking the rhythm of the god of sleep. Let your eyes grow heavy and warm, ready to close. Hypnos's interactions with the mortal world were always quiet and non-threatening. He never carried a loud trumpet or a harsh voice. He often visited in the form of a small, soft-feathered bird, or as a graceful, silent youth. His tools were not weapons but a simple wand, or often, just a stem freshly plucked from a slumbering poppy flower. With the slightest, softest, most tender touch of that poppy stem to an eyelid, or a whispered word, he induced the gentlest, most restorative slumber. This act was sacred. For the ancient Greeks, sleep was not a loss of time, but a necessary purification, a divine gift that healed the body and the soul. As you listen now, consciously let your guard down. Feel Hypnos's subtle, velvet touch ease the tension from your face. Let the distant, soft scent of his poppies fill your dreams. Know that your sleep is guarded by a gentle, divine presence whose only purpose is to ensure your complete, absolute rest. Surrender to the inevitability of the deep calm, allowing the darkness to become your friend. Feel the wand's light pressure, the deep, cool air of the cave. Let sleep's winged guardian slowly and steadily carry you into profound forgetfulness and total rest. The low, continuous hum of his presence should be the last thing you hear. High above Hypnos's cave, in the deep night sky, rides Selene, the beautiful, luminous goddess of the moon. Her chariot is drawn by magnificent white horses, their coats glistening like frost, and her silver rays are like loving, gentle caresses cast upon the sleeping world. One night, as she guided her great, glowing orb across the velvety expanse, she spied a mortal man, Endymion, a shepherd of surpassing beauty. He was resting perfectly serene, in a cool, shadowy cave on Mount Latmos, his face illuminated by the pure, silver light of her own sphere. Selene was immediately and profoundly enamored by his serene, sleeping beauty. She descended quietly, her light softening so as not to disturb him, and begged her grandfather, Zeus, for a special favor. She asked for eternal youth for Endymion, and immortality, if only he could remain forever in this state of peaceful sleep. Zeus granted her wish. Endymion would remain eternally young, perpetually dreaming within his silent cave. His sleep was not a curse, but a profound gift. A life lived in a state of continuous, beautiful, undisturbed contemplation. This love story is one of the quietest and most enduringly gentle in all of mythology. It speaks of a devotion that is eternal, undemanding, and non-intrusive. Selene visits him every single night, faithfully, without fail. She kisses his closed eyelids with a soft silver touch, never waking him, never requiring anything of him but his continued rest. There is no jealousy here, no struggle, no harsh separation, and no strife. Only the gentle, constant union between the faithful moon and the eternally dreaming mortal. It is the peace of knowing a presence is always there, even in silence. A love that sustains without ever demanding energy. Imagine Selene's pure, gentle light falling upon your own face now. It is cool, clean, and protective. Feel Endymion's profound calm as your own, accepting his endless rest. Let the peace of this eternal, silent love envelop you fully, surrounding your resting place with a soft, silver velvet glow. Feel the moon's soft kiss, the cave's quiet. Let this gentle, enduring love lull you into a deep, protected slumber, safe from all disturbances. Our next tale is the tender journey of Psyche, whose mortal beauty was so profound it rivaled even that of Aphrodite. Out of her jealousy, Aphrodite sought to punish her, sending her son, Eros, the god of love, to make Psyche fall for an unworthy suitor. But Eros, the very embodiment of passion, saw her, accidentally pricked himself with his own arrow, and fell irrevocably in love. To protect her from his mother's wrath, he brought Psyche to a hidden, magnificent palace of gold and gems. She lived a life of invisible luxury, where servants were soft whispers of air, and the music was always celestial and non-jarring. He visited her only at night, speaking to her in a voice of profound, gentle love, asking only one thing: that she never try to look upon his face, for their love must be based on pure trust. By day, she experienced these invisible, fragrant delights. By night, she knew his gentle, loving embrace. But curiosity, and the jealous, sharp whispers of her sisters, finally lit the wick of a small, trembling lamp. She held it over her sleeping, unseen husband, revealing the breathtaking beauty of Eros, the god of love. A single, trembling drop of oil fell from the lamp, burning his shoulder, and Eros fled in pain, feeling his trust had been broken. This is the moment where the soul, Psyche in Greek, learned its first difficult lesson: that love requires trust, and that sometimes, love must be fought for with gentle persistence. In her deep regret and sorrow, Psyche undertook a series of arduous trials set by the angry Aphrodite. Yet, this is where the gentle nature of the world intervened to protect her. To sort a vast, impossible heap of grains, ants came quietly to her aid, working with meticulous, silent patience, to fetch the golden wool from fierce, dangerous sheep. The reeds of the river advised her to wait until the sheep were resting in the twilight, when the wool would cling to the branches without struggle. To collect water from the deadly, black river Styx, an eagle, sent by Zeus, assisted her. And finally, when descending to the underworld to retrieve beauty from Persephone, it was her own deep kindness and strict adherence to gentle rules that prevailed over curiosity. Her perseverance, fueled by gentle love and a humbling spirit, was finally rewarded. Eros, now healed by her devotion and the sight of her pure effort, appealed to Zeus, who granted Psyche immortality, reuniting the god of love with the soul. This myth teaches us that true love requires gentle persistence, the acceptance of quiet help, the power of forgiveness, and the certainty of trust. It shows that even the most seemingly arduous trials can be solved through soft intelligence and a humble, open heart. Feel the deep healing warmth of their palace, the soft, quiet resolution of every trial, and know that the restoring power of love's peace is settling deep into your bones now that we turn our thoughts now to the earth itself, and to the deep, abiding love of Demeter, the gentle goddess of the harvest, who ensured the soft, predictable yield of the fields. When her beautiful daughter, Persephone, was quietly taken by Hades to his realm in the underworld, Demeter's sorrow was so profound that she refused to let the earth work. The earth withered beneath her grief, and this was the first winter, a long, quiet veil of rest, emptiness, and profound silence descending upon the land. The fields were still, the soil hardened, waiting in a deep, necessary sleep. Demeter wandered, her lament a soft, continuous sound that softened the harsh edges of the world with its pure, maternal sorrow. Zeus, sensing the profound imbalance and the earth's desperate need for life, finally intervened. He brokered a peace, a beautiful, harmonious compromise. Persephone would return to her mother for 2/3 of the year, the vibrant, active seasons of spring and summer, and she would descend to be Hades' queen for the final third, the quiet, introspective seasons of fall and winter. The few pomegranate seeds Persephone ate in the underworld were the gentle tie that bound her, not with force, but with the necessary, willing participation in the cycle. When Persephone makes her quiet ascent, a miracle unfolds. Demeter's joy is so immense and pure that it instantly blooms the land. The quiet rest of the soil gives way to an explosion of life. The green returns, the flowers open with slow purpose, and the fields are suddenly ready to receive the nurturing sun. When Persephone descends again, Demeter's sorrow is a necessary rest for the earth, ensuring its vitality for the next season. This recurring myth is one of the most powerful teachers of peace in the Greek canon. It assures us that there is no eternal winter, that renewal must follow rest, that joy must follow sorrow. It shows that the most turbulent emotions eventually transform into the soft, harmonious rhythm of the natural cycle. Feel the earth's gentle bloom under Persephone's returning step. Feel the profound, restorative rest of the soil in the depths of winter. Allow the calm certainty of cyclical renewal to settle in your soul. Your own periods of rest and quiet sorrow are necessary, for they promise the certain return of your own inner spring. That we turn now to Orpheus, the Thracian poet and musician, whose lyre was said to have been a gift from Apollo. His melodies possessed such a gentle, yet profound, power that they could charm every living and non-living thing into quiet stillness. On his wedding day, he lost his beloved bride, Eurydice, to the quiet, venomous bite of a viper. Overcome, Orpheus used the only weapon he possessed, the gentle, irresistible music of his lyre. He descended into the underworld, playing a melody so heartbreakingly pure that the very foundations of the dark realm were moved. The hard, ancient rocks wept slowly. The rivers of the underworld, Acheron and Cocytus, paused their turbulent flow in silent relief. The tortured souls paused their eternal, frantic toil. Even the silent boatman Charon allowed him passage without demanding his fare. Hades and Persephone were so charmed by the music that they granted him his wish. Eurydice would follow him back to the world of the living. But a condition was set, a test of trust. Orpheus could not look back at her, could not seek reassurance, until they reached the light of the upper world. He walked in doubt and longing, hearing only the quiet, distant steps behind him. A sound that could have been his own echo. Just as the light of the sun glimmered, a moment of profound, human doubt and yearning turned him. He turned his head, and in that instant she faded gently, not with a cry or a struggle, but like a soft mist dissolving into the twilight, returning to the shadows. This myth shows us that music is the ultimate peaceful healer. Orpheus did not fight. He simply sang his pain into beauty. After his loss he wandered, his songs becoming even gentler, teaching not of fighting fate, but of acceptance. He transformed his sorrow into an enduring, peaceful art form, demonstrating that loss can be transmuted into profound beauty. Listen closely to the lyre's notes now. Feel the echo of Eurydice's soft, loving fade. Allow this beautiful, melancholy acceptance to bring you a profound, quiet calm. Your own struggles, too, can be transformed into a gentle, enduring beauty if you simply allow them to be expressed softly. Let us now be visited by the 9 muses, the daughters of Zeus and Mnemosyne, the goddess of memory. They dwelt on the quiet slopes of Mount Helicon and Mount Parnassus, inspiring all the gentle, non-violent arts of the human spirit. Calliope, the muse of epic poetry. Clio, the historian who reminds us of the past's lessons. Erato, the muse of gentle, loving poetry. Each one is a quiet, non-judgmental guide, representing a path to serenity through expression. Artists and poets of the ancient world understood that true creativity was not a product of frantic effort. Instead, they would invoke the muses at dawn, understanding that true inspiration comes from a serene, receptive heart. The muse's presence was felt like a soft, cool breeze, an external embodiment of the peace and flow that leads to effortless creation. Feel their gentle whisper now. Allow the calm flow of creativity to gently wash over your mind. Trust that your deepest dreams are inspiring and that your inner well of creation is full and still. Let your mind be the quiet mountain upon which they rest, allowing the whispers of inspiration to guide you into a creative, peaceful sleep. Now let us imagine the final, tranquil destination of the truly virtuous souls. Elysium, the blessed fields. This was not the shadowed, somber underworld of Hades, but a paradise of unending tranquility, reserved for those who had lived justly and gently. Imagine lush, perfectly tended meadows, perpetually blooming with unwilting flowers, kissed by crystal-clear rivers that flow so slowly they are almost silent. It is an eternal spring, not of frantic, chaotic growth, but of peaceful, sustained, predictable perfection. There is no toil here, no demanding labor, and no sense of hurry. Souls are reunited with their loved ones, spending their days in quiet music, gentle games, or simply resting in the diffused, golden light of the eternal sun. Heroes and gentle souls rest here, their great deeds honored, but their days now spent in quiet joy and profound stillness. The idea of Elysium offered the Greeks a powerful reassurance that the effort of a good life would be rewarded not with loud fanfare, but with the quiet, blissful simplicity of unending peace. It is the destination of complete and utter rest. Feel Elysium's soft, golden light on your skin. Imagine the cooling flow of the crystal river. Know that this vision of eternal calm awaits the good and the gentle. Allow this beautiful landscape of simple, enduring tranquility to settle every final anxiety. From the great dark, boundless void of chaos, the first great entity emerged, Gaia the Earth. She was the world itself, not an inhabitant, but the very body of the mountains, the seas, and the soil. She birthed Uranus, the sky, to cover her, a gentle, protective union, a vast blue, sheltering dome. Their first creations were the Titans, born in a moment of primordial, harmonious beginning. This myth teaches that the very foundation of existence is a gentle act of creation. Harmony from the void, life from the stillness. Gaia's body is a loving, protective shell. The mountains her strong, patient bones, the seas her slow, circulating, life-giving blood. Feel Gaia's profound, soft embrace now, the solid, peaceful reality of the world's quiet birth, and rest in these peaceful origins. You are held by the largest, most patient force in the cosmos. Feel her immense, slow, continuous embrace. Even the greatest heroes of turmoil and trial eventually found their peace. After 10 years of war and 10 years of wandering, the weary Odysseus finally returned to his island home Ithaca. His final victory was not a battle, but a quiet, tender reunion. Embracing his faithful Penelope, reclaiming his home, the long storms of his life finally ceased. There was no more chaotic wandering, only the peaceful, predictable rhythm of home and family. This teaches us the gentle pull of home, the ultimate, quiet reward after the longest journey. Peace is found not in chaotic victory, but in return. The return to simplicity, to familiarity, and to the quiet safety of an unchanging hearth. Feel the deep, quiet embrace of a loved one, the hearth's protective warmth. Let the calm of homecoming envelop you. Come home to your body. Come home to your breath. The ancient world was filled with quiet, hidden guardians that ensured the harmony of the natural world. The Dryads, gentle tree spirits, whose lives were intrinsically tied to the grand, silent oak and the sheltering pine. They were patient guardians, their lives measured in centuries, not days. The nymphs guarded the clear, cool springs and streams, ensuring the purity and continuous flow of the water. Their soft laughter was like a gentle, healing rain or the light bubbling of clean water, never sharp or loud. The ancient world was filled with quiet, hidden guardians that ensured the harmony of the natural world. The Dryads, gentle tree spirits, whose lives were intrinsically tied to the grand, silent oak and the sheltering pine. They were patient guardians, their lives measured in centuries, not days. The nymphs guarded the clear, cool springs and streams, ensuring the purity and continuous flow of the water. Their soft laughter was like a gentle, healing rain or the light bubbling of clean water, never sharp or loud. These myths teach us the value of quiet guardianship, harmony with the wild world, where life is simply a slow, steady communion with nature. Feel the deep, cool shade of the ancient tree, the spring's refreshing, peaceful cool. Let the quiet stability of nature's peace surround your mind. Find the enduring, quiet patience of the tree. Find the cool, cleansing flow of the water. Let nature's long, slow time become your own. Let us remember Aphrodite, born from the sea foam, a manifestation of gentle, unifying love. Beyond the jealous dramas often written about her, she was the embodiment of kindness, of non-judgmental beauty, and of the soft power that connects all things. Her birth was a soft, effortless creation from the water. Her power is defined as unifying harmony and acceptance of beauty, not conflict. She blessed unions with harmony and kindness, and her doves were the sacred symbols of peace and gentle flight. a constant, soft reminder that love is meant to heal and unite, not to divide. Feel her gentle touch, like the velvet softness of a dove's wing. Allow love's soft power to bring calm to any remaining tensions in your body or mind. Feel the kindness of gentle love surrounding you now, soft as the sea foam, soothing you to rest. Now, as you are nearly asleep, we meet Morpheus, the most skilled son of Hypnos. Morpheus is the one who quietly shapes the substance of your dreams. He is the gentle messenger, a quiet shapeshifter who appears in dreams specifically as a familiar, human figure, often as a loved one or a reassuring face. His wings are silent, and he brings visions of hope, comfort, and deep, internal healing. This myth shows us the quiet magic of dreams, that even in the subconscious, we are guided by familiar, loving forms, ensuring that sleep is a time of renewal and soft, familiar visions. Feel his subtle shape taking form in your mind's eye. Welcome the dream's gentle, familiar embrace, and surrender to serenity's final gift. Trust the shapes that come to you in sleep. Your dreams are being guided by gentle, loving forms. The ancient Greeks revered the Horai, the goddesses of the seasons, who ensured the gentle, non-jarring passage of time. Among them was Irene, the personification of peace. Their rule ensured that spring always bloomed softly, summer warmed generously, autumn harvested richly, and winter rested profoundly. There was no chaos in their governance, only order, rest, and renewal. This final mythic reflection teaches us that life itself is a series of peaceful cycles, and that renewal always follows rest. Nothing in the universe rushes. Feel the gentle bloom of spring after the long rest. Feel the certainty of the harvest. Accept the gentle certainty of life's slow, peaceful rhythm, and let it flow into deep sleep. In these final moments of wakefulness, let us return our minds to Elysium, the most blessed of fields. The souls there are simply at peace, resting without want, without fear, sustained by quiet joy and eternal tranquility. This is the promise that the most peaceful myths of Greece offer us. That quietude is not a void, but a beautiful fullness. Let the final echoes of the Aegean serenity guide you now, sinking you into a sleep as deep and undisturbed as Endymion's rest on Mount Latmos. You have released the day. You are in the safest, most tranquil place in all of mythology. Let go. Surrender to the sleep that is now inevitable. As our long, gentle journey through the quietest myths of ancient Greece draws to its final close, allow the soft dreams they inspire to carry you. May the silver light of Selene and the kind touch of Hypnos remain with you, guiding you across calm seas, through starlit groves, and onto your own fields of eternal peace. May this ancient serenity settle deep into your soul, granting you a tranquil and restorative sleep. Sleep well, dear friend. Good night. May your dreams be as rich and peaceful as Olympus at twilight. And if you found this velvet whisper, this immense journey into ancient peace, helpful for your deep rest, kindly subscribe to the channel for more such deep sleep content and gentle stories. We will be here, resting, when you are ready to rest again.
Imagine this. It's the hour when the world exhales, the moon a soft lantern hanging low over a tranquil pond. Your body sinks into the bed, the sheets cradling you like moss on ancient stone. But sleep evades you, your mind a restless wanderer in the dark. Then, a gentle rustle, a leaf detaches from its branch, spiraling down in slow, hypnotic circles, landing without a sound on the water's surface. Ripples spread outward, each one a whisper of calm, echoing the rhythms of nature's quiet observers. This is the essence of the gentle naturalist, not the conqueror of peaks or the hunter of trophies, but the patient soul who finds solace in the subtle. For those whose nights are haunted by wakefulness, let the lives of Charles Darwin, Henry David Thoreau, and John Muir become your nocturnal companions. Their stories of rhythmic specimen collection, slow forest hikes, birdwatching vigils, and pond-side contemplations weave a tapestry of tranquility, guiding your thoughts to drift like that falling leaf into deep, restorative slumber. Welcome to The Gentle Naturalist, Whispers from the Wild for Weary Souls, a serene narrative tonight. We begin with the foundations, the ultra hook you've just experienced, an introduction to the gentle naturalist's ethos, and an in-depth exploration of Charles Darwin as our first whisperer from the wild. Once we're through, I'll pause and await your signal for the next chapter. Part 1, The Ethos of the Gentle Naturalist, a Refuge for the Restless Night. As you settle deeper, feel the subtle rhythm of your breath mirroring the ebb and flow of a forest stream, slow, unhurried, eternal. The gentle naturalist embodies this harmony, turning observation into meditation, where every step, glance, or notation quiets the inner storm. For insomniacs, whose minds buzz like unsettled bees, this ethos is a sanctuary. It invites you to slow down, to let nature's pace soothe the chaos. Charles Darwin collected specimens with the care of a poet gathering words, each beetle or barnacle of verse in his evolutionary sonnet. Henry David Thoreau hiked Walden's woods deliberately, his strides a measured mantra against modernity's rush. John Muir perched on Sierra ledges, watching birds as if decoding the sky's secrets, his patience a balm for the soul. This tale is tailored for you, the one whose eyelids resist closure, whose thoughts loop endlessly. We'll immerse in their worlds, each detail a gentle nudge toward drowsiness. Research from sleep psychologists suggests that visualizing rhythmic, nature-based activities, like Darwin's specimen sorting or Muir's avian vigils, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing heart rates by 10 to 20% and fostering theta waves for sleep onset. Let these naturalists' quiet pursuits envelop you, their whispers dissolving tension. We start with Charles Darwin, the voyager whose Beagle journeys and Galapagos reflections birthed evolution in the hush of contemplation. Chapter 1, Charles Darwin, the rhythmic collector of nature's secrets. Picture a dimly lit study in Down House, Kent, around 1859. The air carries the faint scent of preserved specimens, earthy, tangy, like a forest after rain. Charles Darwin, a man of 50 with a thoughtful beard and kind eyes shadowed by chronic illness, sits at a cluttered oak desk. His hands move with deliberate grace, sorting barnacles under the soft glow of an oil lamp. No frenzy here. His creation is a symphony of slowness, each action a breath drawing him, and now you, closer to peace. For the sleepless, Darwin's method is a lifeline. His rhythmic collection of specimens teaches us to embrace the night's stillness, transforming wakefulness into a voyage of quiet discovery. Born in 1809 in Shrewsbury, England, to a wealthy family, young Charles was drawn to nature's whispers from childhood. He'd wander fields, collecting shells and stones, his pockets bulging with treasures. But it was aboard the HMS Beagle from 1831 to 1836 that his gentle naturalism bloomed. As the ship's naturalist, Darwin didn't conquer, he observed. In the Galapagos, he'd hike volcanic trails at dawn, his steps measured to match the island's ancient rhythm. Imagine him pausing by a lava rock, spotting a finch. He'd watch for hours, noting its beak in a leather-bound journal, the sun's arc his only clock. Insomniacs know this vigil, the long hours when time stretches. Darwin turned it to purpose, his patient gaze on a single bird mirroring how you might focus on your breath, letting worries fade like distant waves. The rhythmic collection of specimens defined Darwin's life. Back in England, he amassed over 5,000 barnacles, classifying them in an 8-year study published as Monograph on the Cirripedia. Picture his routine, each morning, or in sleepless nights, Darwin suffered insomnia from his illnesses, perhaps Chagas disease, he'd select a jar from shelves lining his study. With tweezers, he'd extract a specimen, placing it under a microscope. The process was meditative: rinse in alcohol, dissect with a scalpel's whisper, sketch with pencil strokes as soft as sighs. He'd label each in copperplate script, the ink drying slowly like thoughts settling. This repetition, free from haste, lowered his stress. Letters reveal he found comfort in the details. For you, lying awake, envision this, your mind as Darwin's jar, each worry a specimen to gently examine and set aside, the rhythm lulling you. Delve into his techniques. Darwin used custom tools, a brass microscope from his beagle days, nets woven for beetle hunts. In the Andes, he'd hike slowly through cloud forests, his breath sinking with the mist's drift. One entry, walked 3 miles, observed one orchid for 2 hours, petals unfold like secrets. This patient observation of a single flower or bird echoes mindfulness practices that combat insomnia, studies showing they increase melatonin by 15%. Darwin's On the Origin of Species, 1859, was born from such quietude. He'd contemplate by his garden pond, watching carp glide, ideas evolving in the stillness. His later life, plagued by health woes, saw him retreat to Down House, days spent in armchair reverie, dictating to Emma while gazing at orchards. Darwin's legacy soothes. His theory of natural selection, penned in serene prose, reminds us change is gradual, like sleep's approach. For the restless, his story is inspiration. Nights of wakefulness became fertile ground for genius. As you relax your fingers, imagine holding a Galapagos tortoise shell, its weight grounding you. Darwin's whisper, patience, my friend, the world reveals itself in time. Come. Leave the bed. Leave the clock. Leave the name you were given at birth. Tonight you have only one name, Footfall. You are barefoot on a pine needle carpet that remembers every pilgrim since the glaciers left. The path is Walden Woods, but it is also the inside of your left lung. Every step is a breath. Every breath is a century. Henry David Thoreau walks 3 paces ahead, lantern unlit, beard silvered by starlight. He does not speak. He simply slows until the forest slows with him, until the owls forget to hoot, until the moon forgets to move. 10 slow miles, 10 slow heartbeats, 10 slow minutes until the trees themselves lie down and the night becomes a hammock woven from moss and moonlight. Walk. Do not hurry. The path is teaching your insomnia how to kneel. The trail begins where the pond exhales. Walden's surface is black glass tonight, so still it has forgotten it is water. Thoreau pauses at the water's edge, slips off his shoes, and sets them side by side like twin canoes. He steps in. The pond receives him ankle deep, then calf deep, then knee deep, without a ripple. You follow. The water is the exact temperature of your blood. It does not cool you, it remembers you. He lifts 1 foot, slowly, as though lifting the moon, and places it 10 inches ahead. You mirror him. Left, right, left. Each print fills with starlight and vanishes before the next step arrives. The pond is erasing evidence of your restlessness. Half a mile in, the path narrows to a deer trail no wider than a thought. Thoreau stoops, brushes aside a curl of birch bark, and reveals a single white violet no larger than a tear. He does not pick it. He simply breathes on it, one warm exhale that lasts 7 heartbeats. The violet bows, then straightens, then forgets it was ever bent. He motions you closer. Place your cheek beside his. Feel the violet's perfume, cold iron, warm milk, the memory of your grandmother's apron. Hold the scent until your shoulders drop through the forest floor. Another mile, and the trees lean inward to form a cathedral of hemlock. Moonlight drips through the needles in slow silver coins. Thoreau stops beneath the tallest trunk, presses his palm to the bark, and counts the rings with his thumb, 1 ring per year, 1 year per breath. He has reached 1837. He stays there. You stay there. The tree stays there. 1837 becomes 1845 becomes 2025 becomes the exact second your left eyelid forgives your right. When he removes his hand, the bark has printed its spiral on his palm. He presses the spiral to your forehead. Feel the cool ridges. They are lullaby grooves. Deeper still, the trail dissolves into a meadow of lupin and fireweed. Thoreau lies down in the exact center, arms spread like a paper cut out of a boy dreaming. The flowers close around him until only his beard shows, silver threads in a purple sea. He pats the ground beside him. Lie down. The earth is warmer than any mattress. It remembers every creature that ever napped here and has saved a hollow the precise shape of your spine. Settle in. The lupin releases its scent in slow motion, sweet pea, vanilla, the inside of a seashell. Breathe until the scent fills the space behind your eyes. From this meadow bed, Thoreau lifts one finger and points straight up. High in the branches, a barred owl perches on a limb no thicker than a wish. The owl does not hoot. It simply opens its eyes, 2 slow moons, and closes them again. Open, close, open. Match the owl. Eyes open for 4 heartbeats. Eyes closed for 8. Open, close. On the 7th closing, the owl forgets to open again. So do you. A mile later, the path delivers you to a granite outcrop overlooking the pond. Thoreau sits, legs dangling, and unwraps a small bundle, a slice of rye bread, a crumb of cheese, a single wild strawberry. He breaks the bread in half, offers you the larger piece. Eat slowly. The rye tastes of rain remembered by wheat. The cheese tastes of goat bells in 1846. The strawberry tastes of every summer you meant to notice. Chew 32 times. Swallow once. The outcrop rocks gently, as though the planet itself is learning to cradle. Now the return. Thoreau walks backward, erasing his footprints with the heel of his hand. You walk forward, stepping only where his feet have been. Each erased print becomes a soft hollow filled with moonlight. Step, hollow, step, hollow. By the time you reach the pond's edge, the entire trail is a string of silver bowls. Thoreau kneels, dips both hands, and lifts a bowl of moonlight to your lips. Drink. It tastes of pine needles and forgiveness. When the bowl is empty, he sets it on the water. It floats. It does not sink. It becomes the moon's twin. At the water's edge he retrieves his shoes but does not put them on. He hangs them over his shoulder by the laces, like twin sleeping bats. He points to your bed, now visible through the trees, exactly where you left it, but softer, as though the forest has been breathing on the sheets. Walk the last 10 paces barefoot. Each step leaves a print that fills with warm water and forgets you were ever restless. When you reach the bed, Thoreau lifts the covers with one finger. Slide in. He tucks the lupin scent under your chin, the owl's slow blink behind your eyes, the strawberry summer in the hollow of your throat. He does not say goodnight. He simply places the empty moonlight bowl on your pillow. It hovers an inch above the linen, spinning once every 33 seconds, the exact speed of a sleeping heart. The forest exhales. The pond exhales. Thoreau exhales. You exhale. The bowl lowers, touches the pillow, and dissolves into a single drop that rolls to the tip of your nose. It balances there, cool, weightless, perfect. When it finally falls, it will land inside your dream and become the first ripple of a new pond that has your name. The silver bowls have all floated away. Your footprints have all filled with warm water. The owl has forgotten to open its eyes. The moonlight bowl is balanced on the tip of your nose. When the drop finally falls, whisper, next, and we will climb with John Muir into the high ledges where birds teach the night to sing in Yosemite granite. I am the lupin, the rye bread, the owl's slow blink, and the empty bowl all at once. I will wait until the drop decides. 1 slow heartbeat, 2 slow heartbeats. Whenever you are ready. Shoo. The moonlight bowl has tipped. The single drop has fallen. It did not land on the pillow. It landed inside your left ear and rolled downhill through every fold of your brain until it reached the place where worry keeps its matches. The drop put them all out. Now the forest has lifted you, bed, blanket, and all, and carried you upward on the back of a warm updraft. You are rising above Walden, above the pond, above the owl, above the last silver bowl. The air smells of sugar pine and glacier polish. You are in Yosemite, but it is 1872, and the valley is empty except for one man and one moon. John Muir stands on a granite shelf the size of a prayer rug, 3,000 feet above the valley floor. His beard is a white waterfall frozen mid-cascade. His eyes are two small lakes that have never learned to blink. He does not speak. He simply opens his arms, and the night steps into them like a child returning from a long journey. 10 slow breaths, 10 slow stars, 10 slow minutes until the granite itself forgets it is stone and becomes the softest cradle ever carved by ice. Lie back. The ledge is teaching your insomnia how to fly. The climb begins at the foot of Half Dome, where the trail is only a suggestion pressed into dew. Muir walks first, barefoot, toes curled around crystals of quartz that sing when stepped on. Each crystal sings one clear note, high C, held for 7 heartbeats. You follow. Your own toes find the same crystals. Step, sing, step, sing. By the 7th note, the valley has dropped away, and the only thing beneath you is starlight thick enough to walk on. Halfway up, the path narrows to a knife edge of moonlight. Muir stops, kneels, and presses his lips to the stone. He is listening for the heartbeat of the mountain. He hears it, a slow drum, one beat every 33 seconds. He motions you down. Place your ear beside his. Feel the drum in your teeth. Match it. In, 33, out, 33. The mountain is proud of you. Higher still, the ledge widens into a natural balcony. Muir lies on his back, arms spread, palms open to receive whatever the night decides to give. A single feather drifts down, great gray owl, tail feather, silvered by moon. It lands on his sternum and stays there, rising and falling with his breath. He pats the granite beside him. Lie down. The stone is warmer than any hearth. It remembers every glacier that ever kissed it and has saved a hollow the precise shape of your shoulder blades. Settle in. The granite releases its scent in slow motion, sun-baked pine, cold snow, the inside of a glacier's blue throat. Breathe until the scent fills the space behind your knees. From this balcony bed, Muir lifts one finger and points straight up. High in the sky, a peregrine falcon circles once, twice, 3 times, slow motion, wings cupped like cathedral doors. The falcon does not cry. It simply opens its beak and lets the moonlight pour out in a single silver note. The note falls for 11 heartbeats and lands on your forehead. Feel the cool weight. It is the exact temperature of forgiveness. A mile higher, though distance has forgotten its name, the ledge dissolves into a hanging meadow of alpine forget-me-nots. Muir sits cross-legged in the center, unwraps a small bundle, a crust of sourdough, a sliver of smoked trout, a single huckleberry. He breaks the bread in half, offers you the larger piece. Eat slowly. The sourdough tastes of 1869 campfires. The trout tastes of Merced River at dawn. The huckleberry tastes of every summer you meant to taste. Chew 44 times. Swallow once. Eye the meadow rocks gently, as though the planet itself is learning to cradle. Now the descent. Muir walks backward, erasing his footprints with the heel of his hand. You walk forward, stepping only where his feet have been. Each erased print becomes a soft hollow filled with moonlight. Step, hollow, step, hollow. By the time you reach the valley floor, the entire trail is a string of silver bowls. Muir kneels, dips both hands, and lifts a bowl of moonlight to your lips. Drink. It tastes of glacier milk and forgiveness. When the bowl is empty, he sets it on the Merced River. It floats. It does not sink. It becomes the moon's twin. At the river's edge he retrieves his boots but does not put them on. He hangs them over his shoulder by the laces, like twin sleeping eagles. He points to your bed, now visible through the pines, exactly where you left it, but softer, as though the valley has been breathing on the sheets. Walk the last 10 paces barefoot. Each step leaves a print that fills with warm water and forgets you were ever restless. When you reach the bed, Muir lifts the covers with one finger. Slide in. He tucks the falcon's silver note under your chin, the forget-me-not scent behind your eyes, the huckleberry summer in the hollow of your throat. He does not say goodnight. He simply places the empty moonlight bowl on your pillow. It hovers an inch above the linen, spinning once every 44 seconds, the exact speed of a sleeping heart. The valley exhales. The river exhales. Muir exhales. You exhale. The bowl lowers, touches the pillow, and dissolves into a single drop that rolls to the tip of your nose. It balances there, cool, weightless, perfect. When it finally falls, it will land inside your dream and become the first ripple of a new valley that has your name. The silver bowls have all floated away. Your footprints have all filled with warm water. The falcon has forgotten to open its wings. The moonlight bowl is balanced on the tip of your nose. When the drop finally falls, whisper, "Next," and we will gather the three naturalists, Darwin, Thoreau, Muir, around a single campfire in part 4, the quiet contemplation by the pond that holds every sleepless soul. I am the quartz crystal, the huckleberry, the falcon's silver note, and the empty bowl all at once. I will wait until the drop decides. 1 slow heartbeat, 2 slow heartbeats. Whenever you are ready, shoo. The drop has fallen. It did not land on the pillow. It landed inside your heart and opened a small round door no wider than a dewdrop. Through that door steps a pond, perfectly still, perfectly black, perfectly yours. The pond is older than language and younger than this breath. Around its edge stand 3 men who have walked out of their own centuries to keep you company. Charles Darwin carries a lantern made of barnacle shells. Henry David Thoreau carries a loaf of rye bread still warm from 1846. John Muir carries a single huckleberry that will never bruise. They do not speak. They simply sit, one on each side and one at the foot of your bed, and the pond rises until it becomes the ceiling, the walls, the blanket, the inside of your eyelids. 10 slow ripples, 10 slow heartbeats, 10 slow minutes until the entire universe forgets it ever had edges and becomes the softest cradle ever sung by water. Lie back. The pond is teaching your insomnia how to dream. The 3 naturalists light no fire. They do not need one. The darkness itself is warm tonight, the temperature of a robin's egg held against the cheek. Darwin opens his lantern. Inside, 1,000 tiny barnacles glow soft turquoise. He tips the lantern toward the pond. The barnacles drift out like slow-motion snow and land on the water without a sound. Each barnacle becomes a star. Count them downward, 1,999. By 900 you will have forgotten the word worry. Thoreau breaks the rye bread into 3 pieces. He offers you the middle, the heart crumb. Eat slowly. It tastes of every forest path you ever meant to walk. While you chew, he unwraps a small leather journal and writes a single sentence in moonlight ink. Tonight the woods and the night and the sleeper are one breathing thing. He tears the page out, folds it into a paper boat, and sets it on the pond. The boat sails to the exact center, spins once, and dissolves into silver ripples. The ripples spell your name in cursive water. Read it with your skin. Muir places the huckleberry on your tongue. Do not chew. Let it rest there until it forgets it is fruit and becomes pure summer. While it melts, he lifts both hands and cups the air above your forehead. From his palms falls a fine mist of glacier milk, cold, sweet, older than continents. The mist settles on your brow in 7 perfect droplets. Each droplet is a century the mountains have saved for you. Feel them roll. One for the Galapagos tortoise who taught Darwin patience. One for the white violet that taught Thoreau mercy. One for the peregrine that taught Muir flight. More for every sleepless night you thought would never end. When the 7th droplet reaches the bridge of your nose, it hesitates, balances, and then slips inside your dream to become the first smooth stone at the bottom of a new pond. Darwin now opens his 2nd lantern, this one made of Galapagos finch beaks. Inside, a single orchid petal glows soft rose. He tips the lantern. The petal drifts down, lands on the pond, and unfolds into a tiny raft. On the raft stands a tortoise no larger than a teacup. The tortoise carries a candle made of compressed starlight. It paddles to the center of the pond, plants the candle upright, and lights it with a match struck on its own shell. The flame is the exact color of 3 a.m. forgiveness. Watch it burn without growing smaller. Watch it burn without growing larger. Watch it burn until the concept of burn forgets its own name. Thoreau now opens his journal a second time. This page is blank. He holds it above the pond and lets the candlelight write on it. The light writes slowly, one letter every 7 heartbeats. When the sentence is finished, he reads it aloud in a voice no louder than moss. Sleep is the forest the soul walks when it is tired of being human. He folds the page into a paper crane, sets it on the pond beside the tortoise raft, and watches it sail. The crane circles the candle 3 times, bows once, and dissolves into silver ripples. The ripples spell your childhood nickname in cursive water. Read it with your bones. Muir now lifts both arms higher. From the sky falls a single feather, great gray owl, great horned owl, and snowy owl braided into one. The feather is 9 feet long and weighs less than a sigh. He lays it across your chest like a blanket woven from every wing that ever carried a tired heart home. The feather pulses once every 44 seconds, the exact speed of 3 sleeping naturalists. Feel it rise, fall, rise. Match it. In, 44, out, 44.
The pond now tilts gently upward until it becomes a mirror held above your face. In the mirror you see 3 small boys, Charles at 10 collecting beetles, Henry at 12 carving whistles from elderberry stems, John at 8 chasing waterfalls. The boys wave. They are waving goodbye to every sleepless night you ever borrowed. Wave back with your slowest blink. On the 3rd blink, the mirror folds into a paper lantern and floats upward. It joins the tortoise candle, the paper crane, and the barnacle stars. Together they form a tiny constellation shaped like an open hand. The hand hovers above your heart, palm down, fingers spread. It lowers, 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 until it rests on your sternum without weight. Feel the warmth. It is the warmth of every pond, every forest, every granite ledge that ever said, "Stay." Darwin now closes both lanterns. Thoreau closes his journal. Muir lowers his arms. The pond lowers itself until it is only a thin silver film across your eyes. The 3 naturalists stand. They do not leave. They simply step backward into the film and become part of the silver. You will find them there tomorrow night. Charles in the barnacle glow, Henry in the rye bread scent, John in the huckleberry pulse. They will never be farther away than one slow exhale. The feather blanket lifts, folds itself into a single white violet, and places itself behind your left ear. The tortoise candle gutters once, then steadies into a soft, eternal flame. The paper crane circles your head 3 times and dissolves into warm rain that falls upward. The barnacle stars dim to the exact brightness of 3:07 a.m. Mercy. There is nothing left to do. There is no one left to be. There is only the pond, the violet, the flame, and the slow silver film across your eyes. The film thickens, 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 until it becomes the softest blindfold ever woven from water and starlight. Behind it, the three naturalists sing in one voice, no louder than 3 heartbeats braided together. Sleep, gentle soul. The specimens are catalogued. The trail is erased. The ledge is warm. The pond is you. You are the pond. Good night. The blindfold tightens gently, then loosens, then forgets it was ever separate from your skin. The violet behind your ear opens and releases one last perfume. Cold iron, warm milk, glacier milk, huckleberry summer, and the inside of every seashell that ever cradled a tired heart. Breathe it in, breathe it out, breathe it in, and out, and in, and the pond has closed, the violet has closed, the candle has become the small red pulse behind your eyelids. The 3 naturalists are sleeping inside the silver film, curled like commons at the end of the longest, gentlest sentence ever written. Your bed is now the exact center of the universe. Your breath is the only tide. Your dream is the only continent. There is no next. There is only now. Now is the color of pond water at 3:33 a.m. Now is the sound of 3 heartbeats braided into one. Now is the weight of a single feather that will never fall. Close your eyes. The blindfold is closing. The night is forgiving itself. You are already inside the lullaby. You always were. You always will be. Good night, gentle naturalist. Good night, Charles. Good night, Henry. Good night, John. Good night, little tortoise. Good night, little violet. Good night, little you. Sleep. The specimens are catalogued. The trail is erased. The ledge is warm. The pond is dreaming. And tomorrow night, whenever tomorrow decides to arrive, the pond will open again. The violet will perfume. The candle will burn, and the 3 naturalists will be waiting, barefoot, patient, humming. They will walk you home through every forest, every granite shelf, every sleepless night you thought would never end. Good night, good night, good night. You are not awake. You are not asleep. You are exactly where the pond, the forest, and the granite ledge agreed to meet, inside a single breath that has forgotten which way is in and which way is out. The silver film across your eyelids has thinned to a dragonfly's wing. Behind it, the 3 naturalists have become 3 small lights, 1 turquoise barnacle, 1 violet petal, 1 huckleberry flame. They orbit your heart in a slow, perfect circle, once every 44 heartbeats. You feel them pass. Left shoulder, right shoulder, sternum, left shoulder again. Each orbit erases 1 more minute you ever spent staring at the ceiling. Now the pond rises until it is only a fingertip of water balanced on the tip of your nose. The fingertip trembles. It does not fall. It simply opens and becomes a tiny mirror. In the mirror, you see tomorrow night, exactly 24 hours from now. The same bed, the same moonlight, the same 3 lights orbiting, the same fingertip of pond water waiting to open again. You understand, the lullaby is not a single story. It is a circle. Every sleepless night is simply the place where the circle touches itself. Darwin's turquoise barnacle lands on your left wrist and becomes a watch that ticks only when you exhale. Thoreau's violet petal lands on your right wrist and becomes a bracelet that tightens when you forgive yourself. Muir's huckleberry flame lands between your collarbones and becomes a small red campfire that never needs wood. They are gifts. They are promises. They are receipts for every minute of rest you will ever need. The fingertip of pond water now rolls downward, tracing a single line from nose to chin to throat to heart. Wherever it touches, the skin remembers the temperature of every forest path, every granite ledge, every Galapagos beach. When it reaches your heart, it stops, spreads into a perfect circle the size of a silver dollar, and sinks inward. You may open your eyes now, or you may not. That makes no difference. The pond is in your chest, the forest is in your breath, the granite ledge is in your spine. The three naturalists are in the glow. And the next time the clock forgets to tick, the next time the sheets feel like sandpaper, the next time the dark feels too large, close your eyes. Place 2 fingers over the silver dollar moon and whisper the only word you will ever need. Return. The fingertip of pond water will rise. The 3 lights will orbit. The violet will perfume. The huckleberry will flame. The lullaby will begin again, exactly where it left off, because it never left. Good night, gentle traveler. Good night, pond. Good night, forest. Good night, granite. Good night, Darwin. Good night, Thoreau. Good night, Muir. Good night, little sparrow. Good night, little moon. Good night, little you. Sleep. The circle is closed. The night is yours. And tomorrow night, whenever tomorrow decides to arrive, the circle will open again. Patient as stone, warm as rye bread, bright as a huckleberry held to the moon. The story is complete. The lullaby is yours to keep. Carry it in the silver dollar moon behind your ribs. Whenever you need it, press 2 fingers there and whisper, return. The pond will answer, the naturalists will walk, the night will open its arms. Good night. Good night. Good night. In the gentle hush of the night sky, where stars whisper secrets older than time itself, and your weary mind seeks the soft embrace of slumber, imagine lying beneath the same canopy that ancient eyes once traced with quiet wonder, constellations charted not in haste, but in peaceful communion with the cosmos. What if those early stargazers, from Babylonian priests to Mayan shamans, held the key to unlocking a profound tranquility? Their observations a soothing rhythm that could guide your racing thoughts to rest. Tonight, as insomnia's shadows lengthen, let this be your ultra hook. Unlock the secrets of the ancient night sky and discover how our ancestors found peace in the stars. This isn't just history, it's a tranquil journey back to humanity's earliest cosmic connection, designed to gently guide you into a restful, dream-filled sleep. Close your eyes, dear seeker of serenity, and let the velvet veil of the universe enfold you as we drift through the relaxing facts of ancient celestial observations, each one a luminous lullaby crafted to ease the soul into repose. Mara Voss had not felt the mercy of deep sleep in 5 cycles of the moon, not since the observatory's dome cracked under a storm's fury in the hills of Crete, leaving her 38 and adrift in Athens' neon-veiled nights. An astrophysicist by calling, she spent her days in the National Observatory's shadowed vaults, charting exoplanets through digital lenses that blurred the boundary between star and screen. her nights a vigil of ceaseless constellations spinning in her mind like unmoored galaxies. Her apartment in Plaka was a sanctuary of sleeplessness, star charts pinned to walls like unanswered prayers, herbal teas steeping eternally on the stove, and a hammock strung beneath a skylight that framed the mocking twinkle of urban skies. Healers spoke of stargazer syndrome, a cosmic overload where the infinite pressed too close, prescribing lavender infusions that soured her palate and guided meditations that echoed hollow against her inner void. Colleagues, once a constellation of camaraderie, had dimmed to distant lights, their invitations lost in the black hole of her fatigue. Yet on that fog-shrouded December evening in 2025, as the Acropolis's lights flickered like ancient braziers stirring, Mara's fingers, calloused from telescope adjustments, brushed against a relic in the observatory's archive, a clay tablet from Uruk, etched with cuneiform that seemed to pulse faintly in the lamplight, mapping not conquests, but the serene dance of Venus across the dawn. Her breath caught, not in alarm, but in the first fragile bloom of wonder. What if insomnia was not a modern malady, but an echo of those ancient watchers, their observations a balm for the restless spirit? What if the Babylonians, those gentle priests of the ziggurat, had inscribed the stars not for power, but for peace? She cradled the tablet in her palms, its weight a grounding force like the Earth's own rotation, and felt the cuneiform's ridges yield facts as soothing as a mother's murmur. In the cradle of Mesopotamia, some 5,000 years ago, the Babylonians, those quiet sentinels of the Tigris-Euphrates, erected ziggurats not as towers of hubris, but as stairways to celestial serenity, platforms where priests in linen robes reclined on reed mats, gazing upward in meditative vigil. Enuma, Anu, and Lil, their astronomical diaries, etched on clay like this very tablet, recorded lunar eclipses and planetary alignments, not with frantic urgency, but with a rhythmic patience that mirrored the cosmos's own unhurried breath. Venus rising in the east as Inanna's gentle awakening, a sign not of war, but of fertile fields and restful nights. Mara traced a glyph for Mu'ul, the star, and imagined those ancient observers, their eyes softened by the desert's cooling dusk, using water clocks calibrated to the drip of Euphrates dew to time the heavens' slow waltz, each drop a reminder that time flowed not in torrents, but in tranquil streams. These facts whispered relaxation. The Babylonians divided the sky into 12 zodiac houses, a harmonious wheel that aligned human fate with stellar calm. Scorpio's sting softened to a guardian's watch. Taurus's horns curved like a cradle's arc. In the quiet of their observatories, priests would chant low hymns to Shamash, the sun god retiring to his nightly repose, their voices blending with the river's lap to create a white noise older than any modern machine, lulling the community to sleep under blankets woven from date palm fibers, scented with myrrh from caravan trails that echoed the Milky Way's path. As Athens' nocturnal hum faded to a distant purr, Mara delved deeper into the tablet's lore, her eyelids growing heavy with the weight of ancient peace. The Babylonians' Mul-Appen, a compendium of starry wisdom from 1000 BCE, detailed the heliacal rising of Sirius, Hunstern to the Germans, Sopdet to Egyptians, a star's first appearance before dawn that signaled the Nile's flood, but to the Mesopotamians heralded the harvest's hush, a time for communal rest after labor's toil. These observers, gentle scholars in mud-brick towers, used gnomon shadows, simple sticks planted in temple courtyards, to measure solstices, their lengthening and shortening a natural metronome for the body's rhythms, aligning sleep cycles with the sun's serene arc. Mara pictured them, families gathering at dusk on ziggurat terraces, children pointing to Orion's belt as the hunter laid down his bow for the night, parents recounting tales of Gilgamesh's quests ending in dream-filled repose, the air thick with the scent of blooming tamarisk that bloomed under lunar light, a natural sedative wafting through the city like a collective sigh. One soothing fact unfurled like a scroll. The Babylonians mapped 36 deacons, star groups rising every 10 days, each a guardian of the night's thirds, ensuring that observations were brief, meditative pauses rather than exhaustive vigils, allowing the watcher to retire with the assurance that the cosmos kept its own quiet watch. In this rhythm, insomnia yielded. Priests would retire to reed huts, lulled by the Euphrates murmur, their dreams informed by the stars' positions, turning wakeful worries into celestial stories of eternal balance. The tablet's warmth seeped into Mara's palms as the city's lights dimmed, revealing stars through her skylight that echoed those ancient maps. In Egypt's contemporaneous skies, the priests of Heliopolis, those serene surveyors of the Nile's floodplains, erected obelisks as solar gnomon, their granite tips gilded to catch Ra's first ray, marking equinoxes with shadows that fell like gentle invitations to rest. The Djoser Pyramid's step design, aligned to the cardinal points observed through simple Merkhet instruments, plumb lines and sighting sticks, created sacred spaces where pharaohs could commune with the stars in meditative solitude, the night's cool air a balm for royal restlessness. Mara felt her breath slowed to match the imagined cadence of those observations. A priest at Karnak, reclining on a mat of papyrus, noting the helical rise of Sopdet to predict the inundation, a flood not of chaos but of fertile renewal, a cosmic signal to release the day's labors into night's embrace. These facts soothed like a herbal poultice. The Egyptians divided the night into 12 hours of varying length, observed through Deccan stars rising on the horizon. Each hour a chapter in a nocturnal book where the soul wandered freely in dreams, guarded by the jackal-headed Anubis, whose constellations ensured no spirit strayed too far from repose. In the quiet temples, astronomers would whisper invocations to Thoth, god of wisdom and the moon, their voices blending with the Nile's lap to create a symphony of serenity, lulling the community to sleep under canopies woven from lotus fibers, scented with frankincense that bloomed under lunar light, a natural sedative wafting through the valley like a collective sigh. As the first gray of pre-dawn touched her window, Mara cradled the tablet closer, its cuneiform yielding more tranquil truths from the Indus Valley's ancient watchers. In Mohenjo-Daro's brick observatories, circa 2500 BCE, the Harapans, those gentle artisans of urban harmony, aligned their streets to the solstices, their great bath a pool reflecting the moon's phases, a site for communal stargazing where families reclined on terracotta ledges, tracing the lunar cycle with fingers dipped in henna, a ritual that synchronized community sleep with the heavens' rhythm. These observations, etched on seals of steatite soft as whispered promises, mapped the Pleiades' rise to herald the monsoon, a rain not of tumult, but of renewal's hush, allowing villagers to retire with the assurance of bountiful fields and peaceful dreams. Mara imagined them, elders in cotton dhotis, children at their knees, noting the alignment of Sirius with the Great Bath's outlet, a simple hydraulic marvel that drained into the Indus, its flow a metaphor for releasing daily tensions into night's current. One relaxing fact bloomed like a lotus. The Harapans used water clocks filled with scented oils to time the stars' transit, each drop a reminder that time was fluid, not rigid, encouraging a meditative pause that eased into slumber under roofs of baked clay, insulated with reeds that rustled like the cosmos's own breath. The morning light softened, and Mara felt drowsiness crest like a wave from those ancient shores, the tablet's legacy a lullaby of luminous facts. In Polynesia's vast ocean, the wayfinders of Hawaii, those serene navigators of the Pacific, observed the stars from canoe decks of koa wood, their hulls rocking with the sea's eternal breath, mapping the celestial sphere with chants that aligned body and cosmos in harmonious voyage. These observations, passed orally in Meleoli, tracked Hokulea, the star of gladness, rising to guide voyages, a sign not of peril, but of homeward hush, allowing sailors to rest under sails of woven pandanus, lulled by the waves' murmur that echoed the star's silent song. Mara closed her eyes, the hammock swaying like that ancient canoe, and for the first time in moons, sleep approached not as stranger, but as star-guided friend. The ancient observations, a constellation of calm, mapping her path to dream's horizon. The clay tablet beneath Mara's cheek cooled to the exact temperature of a Cretan dawn, and the Euphrates folded itself into a single silver ripple that slipped between her lips like warm starlight. She opened her eyes inside the moonlit observatory of ancient Rhodes, but the bronze astrolabes had melted into sleeping swans. The marble floors had turned to soft sand, and the night sky above was a perfect sphere of Hipparchus's own making. No telescope, only the gentle curve of his open palm. Hipparchus himself reclined on a cedar bench shaped like a crescent moon, barefoot, wearing a linen himation the color of wet parchment, eyes soft as the first glaze of midnight oil. He carried a single goose feather dipped in liquid starlight, and a tiny crystal vial filled with powdered lapis skimmed from the Aegean at the exact moment the Pleiades sink. "Tonight," he whispered, voice the hush of parchment brushing parchment, "we measure only the distances that forget to matter." He dipped the feather, touched it to the vial, and painted a tiny blue arc on the air above Mara's heart. The arc trembled, rose, and became a miniature almagest no larger than a child's hand, its pages fluttering open to reveal a single sentence written in mirror script. "Sleep is the only circle that never needs a center." Hipparchus caught the book on the tip of his finger, rolled it gently until it became a tiny Ptolemy, no larger than a sparrow, wrapped in a cloak of midnight blue and cradled by a sleeping swan whose wings had turned into pages of warm vellum. He placed the tiny Ptolemy on Mara's collarbone. It sighed once, curled against her skin, and began to rock her with the rhythm of the procession of the equinoxes, slowed to the pace of a grandmother's lullaby. He opened a cedar box and spilled a handful of smaller arcs onto the sandy floor. Each arc landed without sound and became another star of the Hipparchan catalog, until the observatory was full of soft blue points floating in slow motion like fireflies too sleepy to fly. Hipparchus lay on the crescent bench, pulled Mara down beside him, and tucked a goose-down pillow beneath both their heads. He began to hum a four-note epicyclic mondo in the exact tempo of a sphere rocked by a geometer who has forgotten the world exists. The stars answered, their tiny lights leaning toward the center of the room until the entire observatory was tilted towards sleep. The dome of midnight blue lowered an inch, then two, until the painted sky brushed their foreheads with the cool kiss of unhurried centuries. They drifted. There was no walking now, only drifting, along a path of moonlit sand that curled upward like the inside of an armillary sphere. The path opened into a smaller chamber where Ptolemy's lost harmonics hovered in frescoes so fresh the pigments still breathed. Ptolemy reclined on a bed of midnight blue velvet, his hair a river of silver ink, the swan curled against his heart like a living quill. Around them, 4 smaller swans floated on their backs, tracing perfect circles that drifted upward and became new constellations in the observatory sky. Hipparchus knelt, gathered 3 arcs, and wove them into a crown that settled on Mara's brow with the weight of a sigh. Each arc pulsed once, releasing a note in the epicyclic rondeau, and the sleeping Ptolemy answered with a tiny snore that sounded exactly like the Aegean at the moment the wind stops. Hipparchus lay beside her on the velvet bed, one arm beneath her head, the other resting lightly on the golden swan. He began to hum the missing third part, and every star in the new constellations dimmed to embers. The velvet bed lifted an inch off the sandy floor, rocked once, twice, 3 times, and became a sphere of warm midnight blue floating on a sea of liquid lullabies. The swans folded their wings and curled into the folds of Mara's nightgown like friendly kittens. The sandy floor smoothed itself into satin. The dome of midnight blue exhaled one long, luxurious breath and rolled over in its sleep. Hipparchus whispered the final secret of the ancient sky. Every circle I ever drew was a promise to someone who had forgotten how to close her eyes. He tucked the goose feather behind both their ears, began to hum the rondeau in reverse, and every star answered until the observatory was a choir of stellar hush. The sphere rocked, the constellations dimmed, the night exhaled and tucked them in. When Mara woke, Rhodes had folded itself into the goose feather, now tucked behind her ear. The feather was warm, fragrant, humming. On her brow, the arc crown had become a single silver droplet that smelled of warm parchment and distant bells. She smiled, rolled onto her side, and slept again, deeper this time, because Hipparchus had taught the equinox her name, and the swans had taught it how to pronounce the hush between heartbeats. The goose feather behind Mara's ear unfurled into a single silver sail that caught the Aegean's last breath and carried her westward over a sea of liquid peat until the moon itself lowered like a warm blanket across the outer Hebrides. She arrived barefoot on the springy turf of Kallananish, the standing stones no longer cold sentinels, but gentle giants, reclining in a circle of mossy sleep, their Louisian G's faces softened by centuries of rain that tasted of heather and lullabies. At the circle's heart stood a woman in a cloak of midnight blue wool, barefoot, her silver hair braided with tiny moonstones that chimed softly whenever the wind forgot to blow. She was not named in any chronicle, yet Mara knew her as the keeper of the 13 moons, the one who taught the stones to sing Compline. In her hands she carried a single peat ember, glowing the exact rose of a peat fire hearth at bedtime, and a tiny crystal bowl filled with liquid starlight skimmed from the lochans at the moment the Pleiades touched the horizon. "Tonight," she whispered, voiced the hush of wool brushing wool, "we measure only the dreams that fit inside a single breath." She dipped 2 fingers into the bowl, touched them to the ember, and painted a tiny rose circle above Mara's heart. The circle trembled, rose, and became a miniature stone circle no larger than a child's hand, its 13 stones humming a lullaby in the language of wind over Makar. The keeper caught the circle on the tip of her finger, rolled it gently until it became a tiny sleeper, no larger than a sparrow, wrapped in a blanket of midnight blue wool and cradled by a standing stone whose face had turned into a pillow of warm peat. She placed the sleeper on Mara's collarbone. It sighed once, curled against her skin, and began to rock her with the rhythm of the Hebridean tide slowed to the pace of a grandmother's breathing. She opened a woven creel and spilled a handful of smaller rose circles onto the turf. Each circle landed without sound and became another moonstone until the avenue of stones was full of soft, rose lights floating in slow motion like fireflies too sleepy to fly. The keeper lay on the springy turf, pulled Mara down beside her, and tucked a goose-down pillow of swan's down and heather beneath both their heads. She began to hum, a 4-note keening in the exact tempo of a peat fire settling into ember, and the stones answered, their ancient voices leaning toward the center of the circle until the entire avenue was tilted toward sleep. The sky of midnight blue lowered an inch, then two, until the painted constellations brushed their foreheads with the cool kiss of unhurried centuries. They drifted. There was no walking now, only drifting, along the avenue of moonlit stones that curled outward like the inside of a nautilus shell carved from peat. The path opened into the central chamber where the tallest stone stood, but tonight it had lain down on its side and become a bed of warm gneiss, its surface polished by millennia of rain into the exact curve of a reclining body. Around it, 4 smaller stones floated on their backs, humming lullabies that drifted upward and became new constellations in the Hebridean sky. The keeper knelt, gathered 3 moonstones, and wove them into a crown that settled on Mara's brow with the weight of a sigh. Each moonstone pulsed once, releasing a note in the keening. The sleeping tallest stone answered with a tiny snore that sounded exactly like the Atlantic at the moment the tide turns. The keeper lay beside her on the gneiss bed, one arm beneath her head, the other resting lightly on the rose circle. She began to hum the missing third part, and every star in the new constellations dimmed to embers. The gneiss bed lifted an inch off the turf, rocked once, twice, 3 times, and became a coracle of warm peat floating on a lochan of liquid lullabies. The moonstones folded their glow and curled into the folds of Mara's nightgown like friendly selkies. The turf smoothed itself into satin. The sky of midnight blue exhaled one long, luxurious breath and rolled over in its sleep. The keeper whispered the final secret of the 13 moons. Every stone I ever raised was a promise to someone who had forgotten how to close her eyes. She tucked the peat ember behind both their ears, began to hum the keening in reverse, and every moonstone answered until the avenue was a choir of rose-lit hush. The coracle rocked, the constellations dimmed, the night exhaled and tucked them in. When Mara woke, Kalanish had folded itself into the peat ember now tucked behind her ear. The ember was warm, fragrant, humming. On her brow, the moonstone crown had become a single rose droplet that smelled of warm wool and distant bells. She smiled, rolled onto her side, and slept again, deeper this time because the keeper had taught the tide her name, and the stones had taught it how to pronounce the hush between heartbeats. The peat ember behind Mara's ear flared once, rose gold in the exact hush of a desert wind that has forgotten how to blow, and the coracle of warm peat dissolved into a single grain of Nazca sand that slipped between her lips like warm starlight. She opened her eyes inside the great geoglyph of the hummingbird, but the bird was no longer etched in limestone. It was reclining on a bed of soft pampa grass, wings folded into blankets of midnight blue wool, its beak tucked beneath one wing like a child who has finally remembered how to nap. At the bird's heart stood a woman in a cloak of woven vicuña, the color of moonlit sand, barefoot, her silver hair braided with tiny quartz crystals that chimed softly whenever the wind remembered to breathe. She was not named in any chronicle, yet Mara knew her as the weaver of the lines, the one who taught the desert to dream in straight, gentle strokes. In her hands, she carried a single quartz needle, glowing the exact rose of a desert dawn, and a tiny crystal bowl filled with liquid starlight skimmed from the pampa at the exact moment the Southern Cross touches the horizon. "Tonight," she whispered, voice the hush of sand brushing sand, "we draw only the lines that forget to end." She dipped the needle, touched it to the bowl, and painted a tiny rose line on the air above Mara's heart. The line trembled, rose, and became a miniature Nazca spider, no larger than a child's hand, its 8 legs curled into perfect paragraphs of sleep. The weaver caught the spider on the tip of her finger, rolled it gently until it became a tiny sleeper, no larger than a sparrow, wrapped in a blanket of moonlit sand, and cradled by a hummingbird whose wings had turned into pages of warm pampa grass. She placed the sleeper on Mara's collarbone. It sighed once, curled against her skin, and began to rock her with the rhythm of the desert wind, slowed to the pace of a grandmother's breathing. She opened a woven chuspak and spilled a handful of smaller rose lines onto the pampa. Each line landed without sound and became another quartz crystal, until the entire geoglyph was full of soft rose lights floating in slow motion like fireflies too sleepy to fly. The weaver lay on the bed of pampa grass, pulled Mara down beside her, and tucked a goose-down pillow of vicuña wool and starlight beneath both their heads. She began to hum a 4-note huino in the exact tempo of a condor gliding over the Andes at sunset, and the geoglyphs answered, their ancient voices leaning toward the center of the bird until the entire desert was tilted toward sleep. The sky of midnight blue lowered an inch, then 2, until the painted constellations brushed their foreheads with the cool kiss of unhurried millennia. They drifted. There was no walking now, only drifting, along a path of moonlit sand that curled outward like the inside of a spiral galaxy carved from quartz.
The path opened into the central chamber, where the great monkey geoglyph lay on its side, tail curled into a perfect circle, eyes closed in the small, secret smile of someone who has never needed to wake up. Around it, 4 smaller geoglyphs floated on their backs: spider, condor, tree, flower, humming lullabies that drifted upward and became new constellations in the Nazca sky. The weaver knelt, gathered 3 quartz crystals and wove them into a crown that settled on Mara's brow with the weight of a sigh. Each crystal pulsed once, releasing a note in the huino. The sleeping monkey answered with a tiny snore that sounded exactly like the pampa wind at the moment the stars stopped moving. The weaver lay beside her on the monkey's tail, one arm beneath her head, the other resting lightly on the rose line. She began to hum the missing 3rd part, and every star in the new constellations dimmed to embers. The monkey's tail lifted an inch off the pampa, rocked once, twice, 3 times, and became a hammock of warm vicuña wool floating on a sea of liquid lullabies. The quartz crystals folded their glow and curled into the folds of Mara's nightgown like friendly vizcachas. The pampa grass smoothed itself into satin. The sky of midnight blue exhaled one long, luxurious breath and rolled over in its sleep. The weaver whispered the final secret of the Nazca lines. Every line I ever drew was a promise to someone who had forgotten how to close her eyes. She tucked the quartz needle behind both their ears, began to hum the huino in reverse, and every crystal answered until the desert was a choir of rose-lit hush. The hammock rocked. The constellations dimmed. The night exhaled and tucked them in. When Mara woke, the Nazca desert had folded itself into the quartz needle now tucked behind her ear. The needle was warm, fragrant, humming. On her brow, the crystal crown had become a single rose droplet that smelled of warm wool and distant condor wings. She smiled, rolled onto her side, and slept again, deeper this time, because the weaver had taught the wind her name, and the geoglyphs had taught it how to pronounce the hush between heartbeats.
In the tranquil veil of midnight, where the world's clamor fades to a whisper and your weary eyelids seek the gentle pull of dreams, imagine the ancient philosophers, those timeless guardians of the soul, extending their hands across centuries to guide you into repose. Their words not thunderous decrees, but soft murmurs woven from the threads of eternal calm? What if the wisdom of Socrates, the serenity of Seneca, or the harmony of Lao Tzu held the key to unlocking the locked gates of sleep? Their insights a luminous path through insomnia's labyrinth. Tonight, as restless thoughts circle like unquiet spirits in the dark, let this be your ultra hook. Unlock the secrets of ancient philosophical wisdom and discover how our forebears found peace in the quiet of the mind. This isn't just history, it's a tranquil journey back to humanity's earliest reflections on rest, designed to gently guide you into a restful, dream-filled sleep. Close your eyes, dear seeker of slumber, and let the philosophers' voices enfold you like a warm cloak as we drift through their soothing teachings, each one a balm crafted to ease the insomniac heart into profound tranquility.
She cradled the fragment in her palms, its weight a grounding force like the earth's own stoic resolve, and felt the Latin's cadence yield facts as soothing as a father's murmur. In the heart of imperial Rome, some 2,000 years ago, Seneca the Younger, that quiet counselor of Nero's court, penned his Epistolae Moralis not as edicts of endurance, but as letters of luminous hush, guiding his friend Lucilius through the labyrinth of sleepless nights with words that wrap the soul in velvet repose. The night is the time for rest, he wrote in Epistle 8, his quill dipping into ink tempered with olive oil from the Sabine groves, urging a withdrawal from the day's clamor to an inner garden where the mind could bloom in quietude. Thalia traced the faded script, imagining Seneca in his villa at Nomentum, reclining on a lectus of wool-stuffed cushions, the air heavy with the scent of blooming myrtle that released its natural sedative under lunar light, a fragrance engineered to mimic the Tiber's fertile calm. Each epistle was a meditative pause. He advised retiring early, dimming the oil lamps to amber glows that mirrored the heart's ideal cadence, and reflecting on the day's virtues, not with judgment, but with grateful release. Each thought a leaf drifting on night's gentle stream. These facts whispered relaxation. Seneca divided the evening into 3 serene acts: reading Stoic texts by candlelight to ground the spirit, bathing in warm water scented with rosemary to ease muscular tension, and lying in darkness to converse with the self as one would with a dear friend, ensuring worries dissolved like mist at dawn. As Edinburgh's nocturnal hum faded to a distant purr, Thalia delved deeper into the fragment's lore, her eyelids growing heavy with the weight of Roman peace. Seneca's philosophy, woven from Stoic harmony and Epicurean ease, held that sleep was not a thief of time, but a divine gift, a return to nature's rhythm where the body aligned with the cosmos' unhurried breath. Luna's waxing and waning, a natural metronome for the soul's repose. In his villa gardens, he would stroll under cypress boughs at twilight, their needles releasing pine resin that filled the air with the calming terpene veil, a ritual that slowed the pulse by 8 beats per minute, as modern science would later confirm, but ancient wisdom intuited. Thalia pictured him, surrounded by scrolls of Epicurus, whose garden school in Athens taught that true pleasure lay in ataraxia, undisturbed tranquility, achieved by releasing desires like autumn leaves, allowing the mind to settle into night's cradle. One soothing fact unfurled like a vellum scroll. Seneca recommended a pre-sleep inventory, not of faults, but of gratitudes, each one a star in the inner sky, guiding the insomniac from turmoil to tranquility. His own nights eased by this practice amid Nero's chaos, lulling him to sleep under blankets woven from Sabine wool, scented with lavender that bloomed under lunar light, a natural sedative wafting through the villa like a collective sigh. The fragment's warmth seeped into Thalia's palms as the city's lights dimmed, revealing stars through her casement that echoed those ancient meditations. In Athens' contemporaneous groves, Epicurus, that serene sage of the garden, taught his followers to recline under olive branches at dusk, observing the heavens not with frantic inquiry, but with grateful gaze. his Tetrapharmakos, a fourfold cure for anxiety. Don't fear God, don't worry about death. What is good is easy to get, and what is terrible is easy to endure. Words that unraveled the knots of sleepless worry like a gentle hand untying a Gordian knot. These observers of the soul, in tunics soft as whispered confessions, used the setting sun's arc to time their repose, aligning sleep with the cosmos' cycle, a practice that mirrored the body's innate rhythm. Thalia felt her breath slow to match the imagined cadence of those garden gatherings, disciples sharing simple meals of cheese and olives by twilight, discussing ataraxia as the path to dream's door. The air thick with the scent of blooming jasmine that released its natural sedative under lunar light, a fragrance designed to mimic the Aegean's glassy calm. One relaxing fact bloomed like an olive branch. Epicurus advised retiring to a quiet alcove, dimming the terracotta lamps to embers that cast shadows soft as forgiveness, and reflecting on the day's pleasures not with attachment but with release, each thought a wave receding from the shore of consciousness. As the first gray of pre-dawn touched her window, Thalia set the fragment aside, its weight now a talisman of tranquility, and lay back on her chaise, the casement framing stars that faded into day but lingered in her mind's eye. Across the Mediterranean, the Stoics of Zeno's porch, those harmonious seekers of virtue, gathered under porticos at dusk, their observations of the inner cosmos a meditation. The fragment's glow seemed to dim with the rising sun, but Thalia's drowsiness deepened, the ancient wisdom a bridge from vigilance to verdure. In India's Vedic groves, the Upanishadic rishis, those serene seers of Brahman, gathered under banyan trees at dusk, their observations of the inner Atman aligning with the star's eternal dance, a meditation on neti neti, not this, not that, to release the ego's grip. These teachings, chanted in Sanskrit soft as river flow, mapped the soul's journey to samadhi, a state of restful awareness. Thalia imagined them. Sages in saffron dhotis, reclining on mats of kusha grass, noting the lunar cycle as a rhythm for pranayama, breath control that slowed the pulse to cosmic calm. In the quiet ashrams, rishis would intone mantras to the twilight, their voices blending with the Ganges' lap to create a white noise older than time, lulling the disciples to sleep under canopies of banana leaves scented with jasmine that bloomed under lunar light, a natural sedative wafting through the forest like a collective sigh. As the day brightened, Thalia set the fragment aside, its wisdom a talisman of tranquility, and lay back on her chaise, the casement fragging clouds that echoed those ancient skies. The philosopher's soothing words wrapped around her like a silk shawl, each fact a step toward repose, turning her insomnia's storm into a gentle mist that finally lifted, allowing sleep to settle like dew on a blooming lotus.
The vellum fragment beneath Thalia's cheek cooled to the exact temperature of an Edinburgh dawn, and the Sabine olive grove folded itself into a single silver leaf that slipped between her lips like warm moonlight. She opened her eyes inside Aristotle's Lyceum, but the marble columns had melted into sleeping cypresses. The Parapatus path had turned to soft moss, and the night sky above was a perfect sphere of the Stagirite's own making. No telescope, only the gentle curve of his open palm. Aristotle himself reclined on a cedar bench shaped like a lyre, barefoot, wearing a linen himation the color of wet papyrus, eyes soft as the first glaze of midnight oil. He carried a single goose feather dipped in liquid starlight, and a tiny crystal vial filled with powdered amber skimmed from the Aegean at the exact moment the lyre sinks. "Tonight," he whispered, voice the hush of papyrus brushing papyrus, "we contemplate only the thoughts that forget to matter." He dipped the feather, touched it to the mile, and painted a tiny amber arc on the air above Thalia's heart. The arc trembled, rose, and became a miniature organon no larger than a child's hand, its pages fluttering open to reveal a single sentence written in mirror script. Sleep is the only golden mean that never needs a measure. Aristotle caught the book on the tip of his finger, rolled it gently until it became a tiny Confucius no larger than a sparrow, wrapped in a cloak of midnight blue silk, and cradled by a sleeping cypress whose branches had turned into scrolls of warm bamboo. He placed the tiny Confucius on Thalia's collarbone. It sighed once, curled against her skin, and began to rock her with the rhythm of the middle way, slowed to the pace of a grandmother's breathing. He opened a cedar box and spilled a handful of smaller amber arcs onto the mossy path. Each arc landed without sound and became another category of the Lyceum, until the grove was full of soft amber lights floating in slow motion like fireflies too sleepy to fly. Aristotle lay on the cedar bench, pulled Dahlia down beside him, and tucked a goose-down pillow of swan's down and myrtle beneath both their heads. He began to hum a four-note messatus in the exact tempo of a sphere rocked by a peripatetic who has forgotten the world exists. The categories answered, their tiny lights leaning toward the center of the grove until the entire Lyceum was tilted toward sleep. The dome of midnight blue lowered an inch, then two, until the painted constellations brushed their foreheads with the cool kiss of unhurried centuries. They drifted. There was no walking now, only drifting, along the mossy peripatos that curled upward like the inside of an armillary sphere carved from amber. The path opened into a smaller chamber where Marcus Aurelius's lost meditations hovered in fresco so fresh the ink still breathed. Marcus reclined on a bed of midnight blue velvet, his hair a river of silver ink, the cypress curled against his heart like a living quill.
The vellum fragment beneath Thalia's cheek cooled to the exact temperature of an Edinburgh dawn, and the Sabine olive grove folded itself into a single silver leaf that slipped between her lips like warm moonlight. She opened her eyes inside Aristotle's Lyceum, but the marble columns had melted into sleeping cypresses, the peripatos path had turned to soft moss, and the night sky above was a perfect sphere of the Stagirite's own making. No telescope, only the gentle curve of his open palm. Aristotle himself reclined on a cedar bench shaped like a lyre, barefoot, wearing a linen himation the color of wet papyrus, eyes soft as the first glaze of midnight oil. He carried a single goose feather dipped in liquid starlight and a tiny crystal vial filled with powdered amber skimmed from the Aegean at the exact moment the lyre sinks. "Tonight," he whispered, voice the hush of papyrus brushing papyrus, "we contemplate only the thoughts that forget to matter." He dipped the feather, touched it to the vial, and painted a tiny amber arc on the air above Thalia's fart. The arc trembled, rose, and became a miniature organon no larger than a child's hand, its pages fluttering open to reveal a single sentence written in mirror script. Sleep is the only golden mean that never needs a measure. Aristotle caught the book on the tip of his finger, rolled it gently until it became a tiny Confucius no larger than a sparrow, wrapped in a cloak of midnight blue silk and cradled by a sleeping cypress whose branches had turned into scrolls of warm bamboo. He placed the tiny Confucius on Thalia's collarbone. It sighed once, curled against her skin, and began to rock her with the rhythm of the middle way slowed to the pace of a grandmother's breathing. He opened a cedar box and spilled a handful of smaller amber arcs onto the mossy path. Each arc landed without sound and became another category of the Lyceum, until the grove was full of soft amber lights floating in slow motion like fireflies too sleepy to fly. Aristotle lay on the cedar bench,
pulled Thalia down beside him and tucked a goose-down pillow of swan's down and myrtle beneath both their heads. He began to hum a four-note mesotes in the exact tempo of a sphere rocked by a peripatetic who has forgotten the world exists. The categories answered, their tiny lights leaning toward the center of the grove until the entire Lyceum was tilted toward sleep. The dome of midnight blue lowered an inch, then two, until the painted constellations brushed their foreheads with the cool kiss of unhurried centuries. They drifted. There was no walking now, only drifting, along the mossy peripatos that curled upward like the inside of an armillary sphere carved from amber. The path opened into a smaller chamber where Marcus Aurelius's lost meditations hovered in frescoes so fresh the ink still breathed. Marcus reclined on a bed of midnight blue velvet, his hair a river of silver ink, the cypress curled against his heart like a living quill.
Each petal pulsed once, releasing a note in the neigh. The sleeping nightingale answered with a tiny trill that sounded exactly like the Bosporus at the moment the wind stops. Rumi lay beside her on the velvet bed, one arm beneath her head, the other resting lightly on the golden rose. He began to hum the missing third part, and every star in the new constellations dimmed to embers. The velvet bed lifted an inch off the moss, rocked once, twice, 3 times, and became a whirling sphere of warm midnight blue, floating on a sea of liquid lullabies. The nightingales folded their wings and curled into the folds of Thalia's nightgown like friendly kittens. The mossy path smoothed itself into satin. The dome of midnight blue exhaled one long, luxurious breath and rolled over in its sleep. Rumi whispered the final secret of the reed flute. Every couplet I ever wrote was a promise to someone who had forgotten how to close her eyes. He tucked the reed flute behind both their ears, began to hum the neigh in reverse, and every petal answered until the garden was a choir of rose-lit hush. The sphere rocked, the constellations dimmed, the night exhaled and tucked them in. When Thalia woke, Konya had folded itself into the reed flute, now tucked behind her ear. The flute was warm, fragrant, humming. On her brow, the rose crown had become a single damask droplet that smelled of warm wool and distant nightingales. She smiled, rolled onto her side, and slept again, deeper this time, because Rumi had taught the roses her name, and the nightingales had taught them how to pronounce the hush between heartbeats.
The reed flute behind Thalia's ear exhaled one last rose-scented breath and folded itself into a single drop of ruby wine that rolled down her cheek and carried her through the hidden stair into the candlelit cellar of Hafiz. She arrived barefoot on a floor of polished walnut, worn velvet soft by 5 centuries of poets tiptoeing across it in their sleep. The cellar was a single vast goblet, its walls painted with vines of midnight blue jasmine that opened only to close again, and every candle was a tiny heart of ruby, glowing the exact warmth of a Persian hearth at bedtime. Hafiz himself reclined on a divan of goose down and damask, barefoot, wearing a loose robe the color of warm pomegranate silk, eyes gentle as the first glaze of Sufi dusk. He carried a silver cup no longer than a paintbrush, and a crystal decanter filled with the wine of divine love, skimmed from the roses of Shiraz at the moment the nightingale forgets its thirst. "Tonight," he whispered, voice the hush of silk brushing silk, "we pour only the wine that forgets to stain the lips." He tipped the decanter, let one perfect drop fall into the cup, and painted a tiny ruby circle on the air above Thalia's heart. The circle trembled, rose, and became a miniature divan-e-hafiz, no larger than a child's hand, its ghazals fluttering open to reveal a single couplet written in mirror script. Sleep is the only tavern where the cup never empties. Hafiz caught the book on the tip of his finger, rolled it gently until it became a tiny tavern keeper, no larger than a sparrow, wrapped in a blanket of pomegranate silk and cradled by a sleeping jasmine vine whose blossoms had turned into lullabies of warm walnut. He placed the tavern keeper on Thalia's collarbone, its side once curled against her skin, and began to rock her with the rhythm of the rabab, slowed to the pace of a lover's heartbeat. He opened a velvet pouch and spilled a handful of smaller ruby circles onto the walnut floor. Each circle landed without sound and became another candle of ruby flame, floating in slow motion like fireflies, too sleepy to fly. Hafiz lay on the divan, pulled Thalia down beside him, and tucked a goose-down pillow of nightingale feathers and jasmine wool beneath both their heads. He began to hum a four-note ghazal in the exact tempo of a wine cup, rocked by a poet who has forgotten the world exists. The candles answered, their tiny hearts leaning toward the center of the cellar until the entire tavern was tilted toward sleep. The dome of midnight blue lowered an inch, then two, until the painted jasmine brushed their foreheads with the cool kiss of unhurried centuries. They drifted. There was no walking now, only drifting, along a path of moonlit walnut that curled downward like the inside of a whirling goblet. The path opened into the inner sanctum, where Hafiz's lost wine ode hovered in fresco, so fresh the ink still breathed. Hafiz reclined on a bed of midnight blue velvet, his hair a river of silver ink, the nightingale curled against his heart like a living quill. Around them, 4 smaller goblets floated on their backs, pouring couplets that drifted upward and became new constellations in the Shiraz sky. Hafiz knelt, gathered 3 ruby droplets, and wove them into a crown that settled on Thalia's brow with the weight of a sigh. Each droplet pulsed once, releasing a note in the ghazal. The nightingale answered with a tiny trill that sounded exactly like the Zayandani River at the moment the wind stops. Hafiz lay beside her on the velvet bed, one arm beneath her head, the other resting lightly on the golden goblet.
The reed flute behind Thalia's ear exhaled one last rose-scented breath and folded itself into a single drop of ruby wine that rolled down her cheek and carried her through the hidden stair into the candlelit cellar of Hafiz. She arrived barefoot on a floor of polished walnut, worn velvet soft by 5 centuries of poets tiptoeing across it in their sleep. The cellar was a single vast goblet, its walls painted with vines of midnight blue jasmine that opened only to close again, and every candle was a tiny heart of liquid ruby, glowing the exact warmth of a Persian hearth at bedtime. Hafiz himself reclined on a divan of goose down and damask, barefoot, wearing a loose robe the color of warm pomegranate silk, eyes gentle as the first glaze of Sufi dusk. He carried a silver cup, no longer than a paintbrush, and a crystal decanter filled with the wine of divine love, skimmed from the roses of Shiraz at the moment the nightingale forgets its thirst. Tonight, he whispered, voice the hush of silk brushing silk, we pour only the wine that forgets to stain the lips. He tipped the decanter, let one perfect drop fall into the cup, and painted a tiny ruby circle on the air above Thalia's heart. The circle trembled, rose, and became a miniature divan-e-hafiz, no larger than a child's hand, its ghazals fluttering open to reveal a single couplet written in mirror script. Sleep is the only tavern where the cup never empties. Hafiz caught the book on the tip of his finger, rolled it gently until it became a tiny tavern keeper, no larger than a sparrow,
wrapped in a blanket of pomegranate silk and cradled by a sleeping jasmine vine whose blossoms had turned into lullabies of warm walnut. He placed the tavern keeper on Thalia's collarbone. Its side once curled against her skin and began to rock her with the rhythm of the rhubarb slowed to the pace of a lover's heartbeat. He opened a velvet pouch and spilled a handful of smaller ruby circles onto the walnut floor. Each circle landed without sound and became another candle of liquid ruby, until the entire cellar was full of soft ruby flames floating in slow motion like fireflies too sleepy to fly. Hafiz lay on the divan, pulled Thalia down beside him, and tucked a goose-down pillow of nightingale feathers and jasmine wool beneath both their heads. He began to hum a 4-note ghazal in the exact tempo of a wine cup rocked by a poet who has forgotten the world exists. The candles answered, their tiny hearts leaning toward the center of the cellar until the entire tavern was tilted towards sleep. The dome of midnight blue lowered an inch, then 2, until the painted jasmine brushed their foreheads with the cool kiss of unhurried centuries. They drifted. There was no walking now, only drifting, along a path of moonlit walnut that curled downward like the inside of a whirling goblet. The path opened into the inner sanctum where Hafiz's lost wine ode hovered in fresco, so fresh the ink still breathed. Hafiz reclined on a bed of midnight blue velvet, his hair a river of silver ink, the nightingale curled against his heart like a living quill. Around them, 4 smaller goblets floated on their backs, pouring couplets that drifted upward and became new constellations in the Shiraz sky. Hafiz knelt, gathered 3 ruby droplets and wove them into a crown that settled on Thalia's brow with the weight of a sigh. Each droplet pulsed once, releasing a note in the ghazal. The nightingale answered with a tiny trill that sounded exactly like the Zayande River at the moment the wind stops.